Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 14. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, Alex and Roots. So, the story of the week. News has slowed down a little bit this week. I'd say the biggest story of this week is the Steam summer sale has begun. This is a huge sale, over 1,200 VR titles, and to be clear, this is a sale of all games on Steam, flat or VR, but over 1,200 VR titles. It lasts 2 weeks, starting on June 25th through July 9th. So each of us have browsed through the VR specials and have came up with a few picks for those of you who are still building your library, or you collectors out there that just like picking them up and holding on to them. A few good deals, a few good games from each of us. So we'll go ahead and start with Alex. Alex, what is sticking out to you when you look at the Steam Summer Sale?
Yeah, I've got a few. Some of these are actually recommended from our community as well on Discord. So a few people have recommended these, which has helped me out because I didn't have to troll through them myself. But yeah, the first one, which was actually a main fan, just in pointing this one out to me, which is Seeking Dawn, 80% off, £4.75. I actually bought this myself, even though I've got access to it, so I can play co-op. So yeah, this is a big sale, very good price. Buy it at that price, definitely. Another one, which I think it was Durillo that recommended, which is Winlands, 90% off. So it's listed £1.50 or $2, which is an absolute steal. I mean, you need to get that if you've not played it already. We've got Detached, which is 80% off. Where if you don't know what Detached is, little space thing where you're in your little space suit. It's really cool. Make sure you turn simulation mode on, and short bursts. Looks really cool. £3.89. These are all gonna be pounds because I can't see them in dollars, unfortunately. Downward Spiral, Horror Station. That's 60% off. £5.99. We've got Everspace, which was Chris Gould. He recommended this one. This is actually a really little bit of a hidden gem we need to talk about in another hidden gem episode, but that's 80% off, which is a really cool space dogfight simulator. Sort of, it's like Elite Dangerous, but just all action. None of this grinding stuff. That's 80% off, £4.59. One that I've just thrown in there just because I love this game and I think it needs more exposure, which is Pro's Enlightenment. That's a recent game, 35% off. It's £10.39. I definitely recommend picking that up at that price. Gates of Nowhere, another one which Chris recommended, which I also recommend, 50% off, £5.29. Really cool dungeon crawler. Very nice graphics, kind of like the Dark Souls of VR. And the last one, which is Zing, The Land Beyond, which is 50% off, and that is £7.49. That's it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I had a few myself here that I wanted to point out. First of all, Abduction, which is a puzzle adventure from the creators of Myst, highly regarded. That is 70% off, or $9. In Death, one of the more highly regarded archery games, also 70% off, $9 as well. Dirt Rally, I know that's one of Alex's favorites. It's a racing game, probably one of the better, if not the best, racing game on PC VR. 80% off, $8.
Wow.
Accounting Plus. Anybody who played Trover and loves that sort of humor, it all originated from Accounting Plus. And Accounting Plus is 60% off, less than $5. So definite recommend there. Talos Principle, another puzzle adventure in the vein of Abduction, 85% off, or $6. Res Infinite, the OG trippy musical. I don't know how to. It's hard to put a genre on Res. Most people already know what Res is anyway. It doesn't go on sale often. It's 50% off right now, $12.49. Just in Time Incorporated, which is kind of like Super Hot meets Minecraft meets I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. We talked about it on the show before, but 75% off, less than $4.
Wow.
Great deal on that. Transference, one of my favorite games. One of the highest production values I've experienced in a VR game. 60% off, $10, totally worth it. The gallery. Now we reviewed the gallery a few weeks ago, part 1 and part 2. We said don't buy them full price. Wait until the bundle goes on sale, and the bundle is now on sale. $18 for both games together.
Yeah.
So pretty good deal on that. And then lastly, another game we recently reviewed, Robinson: The Journey, the dinosaur game. I mean, $8. It's fucking dinosaurs. So yeah, definitely pick that up. Roots, did you have any picks? Did you get a chance to check out the Steam summer sale?
Yeah, actually, I got some of it pulled up here because going last, we didn't really share our list, so there's a few that you guys went through that were no brainers for me. One of the things that I like, at least on the more expensive side, you've got I don't know what the hell happened to my page there. But what was it? Skyrim, instead of $60, 50% off, $30. If you've been waiting to get Skyrim, now's a good time. Check it out. Arizona Sunshine, it's $14.79, which is a really good deal. We were just talking about that last week or the week before. This one I picked up actually so that I could play with Scion. Tabletop simulator, and there's a lot of different cool games you can play. That one is on sale, 50% off, $9.99 as well. And let me see if I can pull up just one more, because like I said, you guys picked a few of mine there. I will say, yeah, I don't really see too much else on here. I think I'm just going to stick with that. There's Windlands too, I guess, $22.49. That's not too big of a deal, but as long as you're going to pick up Windlands, you might as well dip your toe into Windlands too. That's what, 20% off, 20% off. So
yeah, that's a good deal on Windlands too. And Windlands 1 just dirt cheap at $2. I mean, wow. And yeah, we didn't really read off all of the larger, more popular games, but those games that are expensive like Skyrim and Fallout, I'm pretty sure those are all half off right now as well. Just tons of games on sale. Pretty much everything except Polybius, which never goes on sale, is on sale this week. So definitely a good time to buy. If I'm not mistaken, the Oculus sale normally comes shortly after the Steam sale. So for those of you that are looking for some cross-buy titles, I'm sure that's coming up soon as well. One more thing, just a reminder that Rogan comes out next week, and it's on a pre-order discount. It's a pretty expensive game. Alex, how much was Rogan?
Well, for me, it's £30, so I think it's $40. Or maybe $35, but it's on a 33% discount, so it's £20 for me. So I'm going to be picking this up before the pre-order. It's pre-order up until it releases, which is on the 5th, which is Friday. So I'm going to buy this before Friday. We'll get a chance to hopefully at least get an hour in there before, so we can talk about it, and then we'll probably do a review the week after. But this looks good. I'm looking forward to this.
Looks beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that are interested in Rogan, this is a pretty hefty discount. But you don't have to worry. The 2-week return window for pre-orders doesn't start until you can play the game. So you can go ahead and pre-order it now. You don't have to worry. You're still going to have plenty of time to check it out. If you don't like it, you can return it and get your money back. But you should definitely take advantage of that discount while it's available.
If you want to buy it, it's a no-brainer, because I know people say, "Oh, don't pre-order, blah blah blah," but there's no reason why you wouldn't, because you're going to get 33% discount, which is quite a hefty chunk, and you still get your 2 weeks and your 2-hour refund window anyway. So if it's shit, you can still refund it. So if you're interested, I'd recommend getting it at that price.
I don't think it's gonna be shit. It looks good, and I think it's really like you said, there's really no reason not to. For 33% off, if you think you might play it and then you don't. You'll be kicking yourself if you end up buying it for full price. So.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it looks like a great game. And for those of you who don't like refunding and are just going to wait, we'll be covering this one. Like Alex said, we'll have some early impressions next week, and then a review within the coming weeks after that. So definitely, unless it's just garbage, we'll definitely be giving full coverage to it.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. We all checked out some free experiences, some more free stuff, kind of an extension of our earlier Monday show where we did the free short films. This week we tried out some interactive stuff. And we're going to start with the Spiderman Far From Home VR experience. It just released this week on June 25th. This is coming from the Sony Pictures Virtual Reality, which is a new studio, if I'm not mistaken, that Sony just built. So we should start expecting more of these types of things from Sony movies. So when they have some kind of action movie or superhero movie, we're going to start seeing more of these short games or maybe even full-length games, who knows, to accompany them. So yeah, this one is for the Spider-Man Far From Home movie that just released. It has a short story mode as well as a free play mode. Now, Spider-Man in VR, in general, whenever we started in VR, years ago, people, it was a no-brainer. People said, man, Spider-Man's going to be awesome. We just knew that this awesome Spider-Man game was coming. And so far, it hasn't come. We got the Spider-Man Homecoming experience last year, which I didn't try, but most people said it was garbage. So here they are coming back with the new Spider-Man movie, a new experience, and another try to get Spider-Man right in VR. Roots, what did you think about the Spider-Man Far From Home VR experience?
Well, let me start first by prefacing it by saying that the first one wasn't so much garbage. It just was more of like an interactive thing where you could you saw yourself as Spider-Man. You did a couple of things. You just didn't feel like it didn't feel anywhere like this thing. This thing, I got in there and I thought it was really cool. And I can't believe that it just, I know we talked about this in Discord, but I can't believe you don't try free stuff, or most times you don't try free stuff. Man, this was really cool. And just swinging through the city, and you actually get to attack, you fight a big robot, and with slinging, webs. And it actually takes a little bit to figure out how to get the controls down and swing around right. So if you get in there and you feel like you're not swinging right or whatever, mess around with it. Cause I know we were also talking about that in Discord about how you kind of have to yank on it to pull. And, so I was doing that and I was swinging no problem, but some people weren't. I guess they were kind of more, just waiting for it to swing them or something. But no, I thought it was pretty cool. Alex, what did you think of this one? Did you like this as much as I did?
I thought it was great, actually. Better than I was expecting. You can either kind of pull yourself along or you can just swing. So you've got the option to do both. It's surprisingly well done for just a free experience. Obviously, Windlands 2 and Windlands are still like the kings for actual just swinging around from what I've played, but this felt surprisingly good, and it kind of said two things to me. A proper Spider-Man game will work. It's just freaking awesome. Like this bit where you're just going to watch him now, he's going to jump off the side of the building. That first bit where you jump off and you're off this tall building, and you've got these skyscrapers down, and then you just flick a web, and it feels really good. And I don't know if it's because of our Windlands maybe experience that it felt very natural, and it was very easy to pick up and get the hang of it. Which made me think that maybe Spider-Man could be real. Maybe if Spider-Man did exist, we would be able to just do this shit in real life. So yeah, it was really cool. You can cling onto buildings, jump off buildings, jump up to the top. The story mode was all kind of cool, but the best bit is just doing the free, because you can free explore the city and just swinging around for 10-15 minutes is cool. You're not going to get loads out of it, but it's worth trying out for free for sure.
Yeah, I was surprised at actually how much content there is here for free. Uh, I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's very well done. The controls felt really good. Now, apparently, there were some bugs with the experience when it released on day one, but what doesn't have bugs on day one? They fixed it before the end of the day, and I just tried it this morning, and I had fun with it. Uh, like you said, maybe it was my previous Windlands experience, but I pretty much picked it up right away and had no trouble playing it. Uh, the story campaign puts you zooming through the streets of Manhattan, taking on this gigantic robot and his drones that are assisting it. And it was fun. It was a good taste of what they could do if they wanted to make a proper Spider-Man video game. And coming out of this, I'd like to see it. This is what we all wanted from games like Marvel Powers United VR, which isn't bad per se. It's just different. But we wanted this ability to roam across the city and take on enemies in this kind of environment, and this game does it very well. And I would definitely like to play a full game version of this. Graphically, pretty good. PS2 level graphics, sufficient for what it was. We all know that graphics aren't everything in VR, and I think that applies here. It looked good enough. It sounded good enough. The important thing was is it played really well. You had a good sense of height as you were scaling these buildings, and some definite replayability factor here as well. So I'll definitely be going back in it at some point to play around with it some more. So yeah, definite thumbs up here. Definitely worth your time and worth shelling out the free price tag that
Yeah.
attached to it.
Can't beat free. Hey, what do you think you're gonna put you said one of your kids is really into superheroes, right? Have they tried it yet?
Yeah. No, not yet, but I'm definitely going to put him in it. I do feel he's a little younger, but I feel like the controls are easy enough that he'll be able to pick up on it. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, definitely going to put him in. I think he'll love it. He'll absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Oh, one other thing. Did you notice after you did it, you got the advanced suit? The second suit or whatever that I don't know exactly what abilities it gives you or if it does extra abilities.
Yeah, I think you do get some kind of extra ability with it. I did not play through it with the upgraded suit, but there's more than one. Like you can keep playing through this thing, and there's a handful of suits you can unlock with new abilities.
Oh, so, cool.
I think it's new abilities. Like I said, I didn't try it, but I think you get some kind of a new ability with it.
Cool.
Anyway, anything else on Spider-Man Far From Home?
No. I think so.
Oh, well, let's move on to another free experience, we'll call it. Shattered Lights. This came out a couple of weeks ago on the Steam store. I think it's exclusively on Steam, but don't quote me on that. It's developed by Team Morbid at the Breda University of Applied Science. So this is coming from some students. This isn't from a professional, game development studio. This is a room scale horror experience. So there's no locomotion involved here. You're moving through your play space. They recommend you have an area of at least 3 meters by 3 meters, but you can adjust it down to 1.5 by 1.5 if you need be. But be warned, if you do that, it can create some discomfort. And the reason why, and let me say, I did go into this and I did try it. I tried it on the 3x3 setting and it didn't fit. My play area was too small. I was bumping into things. So I went back out and set it to 2x2. And I was able to play it. It was a really innovative way of allowing people in smaller spaces to play it in room scale. And the way it worked is it exaggerated your movement. So you take a baby step in real life, and in the game you're taking a large step. So you're able to close distance much more easily, and that's the way it worked. But it did give you a bit of weirdness, and I can definitely see how it would make people who are sensitive to motion sickness very uncomfortable. But anyway, I got in this thing. I tried to play it. There's an elevator in it. I went down to the second level. Everything graphically looked good. I picked up a flashlight. And then I went down another level, and I had some trouble here because all I could see was a wall. Everything else was darkness. I flashed my flashlight all around. You couldn't see the ceiling. You couldn't see the ground. You couldn't see anything in the room. All I could see was the elevator and a wall, and the elevator wasn't responsive anymore. So I couldn't go any further. I had to quit after about 10 minutes of trying and not being able to move on. I just quit. So, Alex, I know you tried this out. Describe your experience in Shattered Lights.
I tried it 2.2, 2x2, because that's my size of my play space, and I couldn't handle the kind of false movement. I nearly fell over about 3 times, just because it's not just you walk. If you just lean forward, like if you lean forward to look at something, you move obviously yourself, but then the world's kind of moving towards you at the same time. So it's kind of, you like, as you move, imagine if you're moving and then all of a sudden your chair starts moving towards you. That's how it feels, and it was making me feel really dizzy. And then after about 5 minutes, I got motion sick. I had to stop, lay down for 20 minutes because I felt like I was going to throw up. So I couldn't handle it, unfortunately. I just wish that they'd added, I know part of the thing was the room scale, but I want to play through it, and I wish they'd have just added an option to locomote around so that I could play through it. But because obviously it's designed for a 3x3 meter play space, and obviously not many people have got that size play space, so you're kind of limiting. I mean, I did it at 2x2, so if you do it at 1.5 by 1.5, you're literally doubling the distance. So if you walk forward 1 step, it's effectively moving you 2 steps forward. And that felt really weird for me. So, but
Yeah,
I know. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say a good way to for the viewers out there, a good way to picture what this is like. It's like using locomotion while you're using room scale at the same time. So it's like you're walking and pressing your thumbstick forward when you move, even though you're not doing anything but walking. That's kind of what it feels like. So if you can imagine, yeah, it does get your stomach just a little bit. And I agree with what you're saying here. I wish that there were some locomotion options. I think that the players should have all the options. I hate it when they try to force anything on the player. They can recommend room scale without forcing it upon us, I feel like. And it was kind of like the same thing I had with a chair in a room, Greenwater. Like if your play space is a certain size, they don't give you locomotion options. I just think that that's kind of crappy. I think that we should always have the option to set it up the way we want to. Roots, did you have a chance to check this one out? And if so, what did you think?
Yeah. I checked it out. It's funny because it's not, especially at first, it doesn't feel like you're just walking and it's going faster. And I know exactly what would make Alex sick, because I messed around with it at first. Because at first I got in there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I was like leaning and I'm doing this and I'm moving forward. And then it dawned on me, okay, so this game is literally like Unseen Diplomacy. It's designed for a big room where you're walking forward and it's directing you back around your room. So you're literally walking normal around, and what to you feels like you're walking in a really huge space, but it's just directing you back around certain ways. So for what they were trying to do, you could finish the experience with locomotion, but it wasn't what they were trying to accomplish. They were trying to do Unseen Diplomacy, and then they added that type of movement where you're using your whole space and you're going around a corner and it's now in a different room and walls are changing. I mean, I did finish the whole thing. I never got stuck in any room, and I was trying to think of what that was. But I did get used to it, and after a while, I didn't even realize that I was, you just kind of adjusted as you walked. and I was still paranoid as hell. And I kept peeking through my Rift S trying to see if I could see that I was going to bump into something, and realized that it was doing a really good job of keeping me away from everything. So I give them very good props for the innovation, like you said, Wes. Although I can totally understand why anybody that's like, especially with Alex, he's very susceptible to head oriented movement, and that thing's all over that shit, and it would make me sick too if I was him. So I'm surprised you lasted 5 minutes, and it's good you got out when you did, because it could have lasted more than 20, right? So
Yeah, so how long did it take you to do this then, Roots?
about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes or so. It was just cool because I tried Unseen Diplomacy back in the day when Anthony had recommended it, and I liked it. But this has got some jump scares and weird stuff's happening, and you go around a corner, and there was a point where I got confused because I thought, well, am I getting lost? And it kept running me in circles, but it was fucking with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. It's really cool. I would recommend anybody try it. Obviously with Alex, I would recommend, if you ever get a chance, or if you can somehow finagle a little bit more space to where you can do it without the movement. Cause I don't know if you could get around that getting sick feeling, and it's,
Yeah, I'd have to move like my freaking sofa out of the room and shit, so I'm not gonna do
not,
that. But
not for shattered lights. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's a cool thing, but it's definitely first if you've got room to check out, and it's just another free little thing. Like, we've seen a lot of these free things like the Scream we talked about last week, and I think it's worth highlighting them for people to try out if they're decent. Obviously, we try them out first for you guys, so you know whether it's worth you diving in. But this is one that I'd say, if you're not sensitive to motion sickness, you're probably going to be fine with it, even if you do the smaller room scale. But if you've got the room for it, it's going to be much better. Like, I was like you, Roots. Because I was on the very edge. Like, when I got in the elevator, I was literally cramped in. I got my sofa right next to my leg. I could feel it on my leg and everything. And I was having to check, like, quickly just check where I was in my room all the time. I couldn't just walk around freely and feel comfortable. I was constantly like just baby steps and just making sure I wasn't going to bang into anything. And everyone talks about room scale, and like when it first came out, that it's like the best thing ever. But in reality, it's like no one really uses it anymore. So
yeah, you got to have like a really big dedicated room to like Main Fan or Anthony. And I do have a lot of space where I could almost finagle it too, but I've got all this shit in here, my TV stand, lights, there's just too much stuff. So I've sacrificed, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do, I'll come back into this game and try it again, because it is high production values and it's a great concept, and I love horror games. One of these days I'm going to set up the streaming to my Oculus Quest, and I've got a large room right next to me here that would be plenty big enough to play this game. And with it being the type of game it is, escape the room type game, I think that it would work pretty well over the streaming features, RiftCat or virtual desktop, whichever one I decide to try. So I'll probably come back into the game then and try it out that way. Root, you said you tried this on Rift S. Did you have any kind of issues with the dark scenes and the black levels and things like that?
No, that was one of the things that surprised me, because I know a lot of people always say that the colors aren't going to look black or whatever. I mean, I by default on my other Rift had the Spud tool off, so it always looked black to me. And the colors on the Rift S, I mean, not that this is that colorful, but I mean, they both were fine. As a matter of fact, the color looks better on the Rift S to me. But it's definitely didn't have any contrast issues at all in this game. So
okay, it's good, because I was kind of wondering that too. When I got stuck, I couldn't see anything, and I was just kind of wondering to myself, can I just not see it because of my headset? Is there detail here that I'm not able to see with my eyes? So it's good to hear you say that you didn't have any trouble. I think maybe mine glitched out or something, because literally all that was rendered was the elevator and a wall just outside the elevator. And that was it.
Well, there was parts in the game where, and of course, I don't know how far you went. Like I said, weird things were happening, and I would go one way, and I'm like, I could have sworn this was there, but I mean, if you're not able to move at all, then it probably wasn't anything that was intended. So,
yeah, it was just darkness, and every now and then it would make this dramatic sound like I was supposed to be seeing something that was not there. It was just darkness. So,
oh, that's weird.
I don't know. It'd be da, 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 you know, the noises that it makes. But yeah, I couldn't play it. I tried. I really wanted to, but wasn't able. So we'll give it another shot when I have full room scale ability in the next room there. So
cool.
All right, moving on. A game that we were just talking about a moment ago in the Steam Summer Sale, Accounting Plus. Quickly, just want to say that this game was announced this week to be coming to Oculus Quest. When is it coming, you might ask? July 4th, next week. So the most American of games coming out on America Day, July 4th. No word on cross-buy, so I don't know if you own this on Rift, if you're going to have to buy it again. I have no idea. But it's not an expensive title anyway. It's only $11. And like I said, it's on sale right now for $5, and it goes on sale quite often. So definitely worth the price. It's not a very long experience. It's hilarious. It's that Justin Roiland, Trevor Saves the Universe humor. If you haven't experienced it and you like that sort of thing, I think it's a must-have experience, and they keep adding to it as well. So. Something cool. Roots, in your opinion, say this isn't cross-buy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the ability to play this tetherless and explore these spaces, because there isn't any real locomotion. It's teleport, node-based teleport, locomotion in this game. I assume that having this tetherless is going to allow you to walk around in it. Do you think that's enough to justify shelling out another $10 to get this request?
Not for me. I mean, there's games that we were just talking about, like if they ever had a Shattered Halls or a Unseen Diplomacy or something where you walked around a big space. Absolutely, no brainer. I got to get this on the Quest so I can try it. But I don't know that there's much that you could really experience by being able to walk around that you couldn't teleport. Maybe you walk a little bit further, get a little bit closer. I don't know. For all we know, maybe you try to and it doesn't let you. I don't know. That happens sometimes too. But for me, I would never think about it, buying it again.
Yeah, I'll tell you the two things that really make it tempting for me. One, the zoo level. We've all put some amount of time into looking for that damn zoo level that nobody's been able to find, but we all think it's there. I still believe it's in there somewhere, just nobody's ever found it. But being able to move around, maybe we'll find the zoo level. The second thing is that damn key. You know what I'm talking about? The key that's dangling in that room where the guy's giving the lecture about the zoo level. If you look up in the rafters, there's a key hanging there. And I literally threw everything in that room that I could grab, trying to knock that key down, but it was so far away I couldn't hit it. I'm wondering now if maybe I can get that key, or if it's just a something that's up there that's impossible to get, that they just put there to drive you nuts. But yeah, those two things, and the fact that it's not very expensive. If I could pick this up for $5, I might do it.
I think you have to now. You got me curious. I have to know, and I don't have a Quest, so.
Right, and beyond that, this would be great to demo. I mean, if you're using the Quest to demo to people, right? If you're demoing it to a grown adult, obviously you wouldn't want to give it to children. But if you're demoing to a grown adult who has a sense of humor, something like this may be able to sell them on VR. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if they put it on sale or if it's cross-buy, I might pick it up. I love it anyway. Alex, anything that you'd like to add on Accounting Plus for Quest?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's just move on then. While we're on Quest, we got some more info on Onward. We learned either last week or the week before that Onward was coming to Quest, and we had a lot of questions about it. Is it going to be cross-buy? Not cross-buy, but cross-play, or actually both, cross-buy or cross-play. But the big question is it going to be cross-play? Because Pavlov was just announced the week before, and we know that that's not going to be cross-play. It's going to be self-contained, Quest players only, and that we were kind of wondering how sustainable that would be for this type of game to limit the lobby to only Quest players. Well, we've just found out that Onward for Quest is going to be cross-play between all platforms that support the game. So the lobby is going to grow immensely with all the new Quest headsets going out there. Not only that, we learned that they're going to add custom maps and map building tools so that the one advantage that Pavlov had, those modded maps, now you're going to be able to do this in Onward, and it's going to be supported by the developers. And there are going to be tools. It's just going to be part of the game. They're going to add a ranking system. So you're going to know who you are, who's in the game, and how you rank among the other players. And I haven't played this game, but I know Alex played it recently. So I'll ask you, Alex, these added features and the fuller lobbies that it's going to bring, do you think it's going to end this debate that's been going on forever? Which one's best, Onward or Pavlov? Which one should I buy? Which one should I play? I think this gives Onward some pretty big advantages over Pavlov. Would you agree?
I don't think you're ever going to end that debate because they are different, the different kind of play styles. So you're always going to get some people who prefer Onward, some people who prefer Pavlov. I don't personally like Onward for the multiplayer. I've always found it's just full of
toxic.
Yeah, just a lot of toxic players. This is like a simulation more. You know, one shot kills people in the chest. So the people who tend to be drawn to this game tend to be more serious. You know, they want to take it seriously, and if you're a new player, they tend to be a bit more hard on you, and they're probably going to be a bit snobbish about people on the Quest playing. But I love the co-op. I play the co-op. That's the main thing, and I know they are bringing some cool updates. They're bringing some more modes to the co-op and stuff. So I'm really keen to try that out, and I'd like to play that with you guys as well at some point. It's up to 4 player.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know about the custom maps though. That's something new. So that'll be cool. That's something. If you can do custom maps for co-op, I'll be interested in that. But or maybe just a private lobby with those guys. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be good for people on the Quest to be able to play it. But I don't expect it to do anything to Pavlov because Pavlov's just a different. This is like a serious sim sort of milsim sort of game, whereas Pavlov's just like a run around like an idiot. You know, people take about 10 bullets sometimes to kill them, sort of thing. So they are different, but it's always good to know that you're going to have more players in there because obviously these multiplayer games rely on you having people to play with. So
yeah, I think that's pretty huge, the cross-play factor. And I think that the maps, I think that's a big deal too. The fact that this is going to support custom maps, I think it's going to add a lot of quality to this community and this game. Something else that I think is really cool that I forgot to put in the notes, they're adding a single-player offline mode with AI bots. So for people like me who are
that's already in there.
Oh, is it in there already? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you can play a single player just against bots, or unless you're talking about bots in a multiplayer sort of PvP with bots, maybe that. But that they've got the bots as in the co-op style, so you can just go. It's like Terrorist Hunt from Rainbow 6 Days, you know, where you've got like 6, 10, 15 enemies to kill, and you've got to just try and hunt them down. But maybe you're talking about actual PvP sort of multiplayer bots, which
maybe that's what it was because the article I read on it did mention about the feature being added into the game. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Yeah.
All right, great. Roots, have you played Onward? And if so, what do you think that what kind of impact are these new features going to have on the game?
Yeah, I play an Onward, and my thing with it is exactly what Alex said. It's mostly people that are elitist. That I played World of Warcraft for like 8 years, and there's those people that doesn't matter how good you are, they think they're the best. So I get a little put off by that. As far as whether it will make a difference, the fuller lobbies and the modes, I think it will make a difference, but I don't think, I'm one of the, you said everybody's either Pavlov or Onward. I'm more Pavlov than Onward, just because of the game modes as well, not just the custom maps. Like people create a bunch of different types of games, like even just gun game. I love going through and killing people and my gun keeps changing. I don't think they have that on Onward. It's like,
Yeah, it's in there.
yeah, so you have their team deathmatch and that's it pretty much, right?
Oh, they have it in Onward.
Oh, did they? Okay. So was it?
Yeah, they had an update on it, so you can play gun game.
Oh, wow.
I played it, but the only problem was, for some reason, they added the thing with gun games. You're supposed to start with the easy weapons and finish up on the harder ones. They had it in this way: you start with a pistol, and then you get a machine gun. Whereas you're supposed to have the pistol towards the end because it's the harder to kill. So I was jumping into games, and all that was happening was, you get people who get the kill straight away. They get a machine gun. You're still walking around with a pistol. So you just get stuck basically because they just pick you off and you're dead within seconds of seeing people, and you're still running around with a pistol. So I don't know if they've changed the balancing of that, but it was the wrong way around, because with Pavlov, you start with like the big machine guns and stuff, and then you work your way down to
end with a knife.
Pistol. Yeah, end with a knife.
Yeah, which is the way it should be. I guess I didn't know that was a mode. I'd like to check out what kind of modes. I just feel like Pavlov's got a little bit more versatility, and then the biggest difference is price. It's $10 every day for Pavlov. So of course you're going to get more people in there, and I would submit that that's probably more of a reason why there's so many people in Pavlov versus Onward. In not that there's not people in Onward, but there's definitely more of a community in Pavlov because it's more accessible to a lot of people. So,
all right, cool. Anything else on Onward?
Nope.
All right, so let's move on. And I want to talk about PSVR for a minute. On this show, I often don't cover the big PSVR releases because they're often PC ports, and we've talked about them already in that context. So like recently, Vacation Simulator came out, and we didn't really cover it. And this week, Catan VR came out for PSVR. We're not really going to cover that. Sirento's coming, Scraper's coming, and we've already talked about these games in some extent on PC. So I often just leave that stuff out of the show. But this week, when I was looking at the PSVR releases, something weird stuck out to me. And I wanted to talk about it here because it looks very different. And it's a game called Medusa and Her Lover. Okay, so this game is it's a Japanese port, I think. It's been active on the Japanese store since April. And apparently they thought it was good enough to work in the Western market. So this week it was released in the Western markets. The NA store, the EU store got this game. So this is a strange game. It's a fast-paced arcade-style hack and slash game, but it is a co-op game. So you're going to have one player in VR, one player on the couch. The VR player is Medusa, and the couch player is her lover. His name is Galos. And the whole hook of this game is that even though it's a basic arcade-style hack and slash game, verbal communication is key in this game because Medusa's gaze turns things into stone, and that includes Galos. So you can't look at your partner or you will turn them to stone. So you have to be talking, looking away, and fighting into different directions. And if that's not complicated enough, there's a single-player mode in VR. And so you would think that that's just one character, right? Wrong. No, you play both characters, and you're not toggling back and forth, right? you're playing at the same time two characters. The left side of the controller controls Medusa. The right side of the controller controls Gallows. That is weird, people. That is strange, and that is very complicated. And I was wondering, this goes back to something we were talking about last week and in prior weeks, that developers are starting to get used to VR a little bit, and we're starting to see new concepts in gameplay come out. Original gameplay that was not possible before on flat games. And I think that this is a great example of that. Now, that said, I haven't played it. I haven't played it at all, but it's very interesting looking to me just because it's so different. Alex doesn't have a PSVR, but Roots, I know you do. This is a $20 game. Are you interested in trying something like this out just to see how it plays?
I would couple of stipulations. I'd have to be the one that's not Medusa, and I need to know that the person I'm playing with isn't a fucking moron, because my thing is I'm going to be the moron. I'm going to be putting people to stone, and I don't want that responsibility. But if you put me in the other role and you get somebody that's good at not looking at me, which I know is hard, then I think it would be pretty cool. It definitely is unique, like you said. I mean, I like the price of free better, but I don't think that's going to help the developers. So, but yeah, so I would probably try it, if I found the right person to play with. So,
yeah, I found it odd that there's no online multiplayer here. It seems like a no-brainer with a game like this that's made for co-op. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to play the single-player mode. I don't think I would like that very much. But I was interested in this game. But Alex, you told me that you heard that this is just 20 minutes long.
I think I might be getting confused with another game, but I did hear on PSVR without Pro, they did talk about this game in particular, and they said it weren't very good. Basically, the subtitles, something to do with the subtitles, were missing half of the dialogue, and it just wasn't very good. So I don't think it's one to really, have a look at some reviews maybe, but I don't think it's one we should be looking at recommending. That's for sure.
I will say this. It's really the only thing that makes me want to play it is just out of curiosity. Production values wise, it looks pretty good. I just wanted to see how it plays because it looks like a cool game looking at the trailer. Now, that said, I don't always agree with the consensus of PSVR without Pro. There are games that they have said are not very good that I've turned out to enjoy. So I'm not going to discount it just on that. Hopefully I am confused about the 20-minute thing, and hopefully it's not this, because it looks like a game that's story based, and I wouldn't think you'd be able to have much of a story in 20 minutes.
So you're telling me you wouldn't pay $1 a minute to play this game? Like, what is wrong with you, Wes?
Yeah, I could think of better things to spend $1 a minute on.
Yeah.
Or $5 for the first minute, $1 for each additional minute, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's that cheap. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Vertigo 2. And I just want to throw it over here real quick to Alex because he's the one who came down with the news on this one this week. Rich, I don't think we've got a scene for it. You can just go to the three split scene. And Alex, they've announced a sequel to Vertigo. Is that right?
Yeah, the official trailer was launched. We just thought I'd mention it because looks like it's going to be quite a decent game. It's not coming until next year, but this is like Valve. This is kind of a Valve game. The developer's working very closely with Valve. I'm not sure if it's being published by Valve, but the first Vertigo I played a bit. It was definitely one of the earlier games, and the control scheme just annoyed me a little bit too much. But I liked I like the feel of the game, the lighting and everything. There's some big sections where there's like these moving things and the lights changing all the time, and it felt really, really good. Even though the graphics were quite basic, but this game looks like they've obviously really improved it. It looks like it's going to be a proper, fully fleshed out, story-driven single player game, so I'm all down for that. But we don't really know much more other than it exists, and it looks pretty cool. So
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, I've never played Vertigo myself, but the trailer or the footage that was online there does look pretty cool. So maybe we'll definitely have more to come on that after it releases.
Mhm.
All right, moving on. Space Junkies, a game that we've talked about a few times on this show, and a game that continues to be supported heavily by the developers at Ubisoft. Uh, First of all, this game is on sale again. You know, in recent weeks, I have lamented that I didn't pick this up when it's on sale. Sub $15 right now. And a game that has already gotten one huge update just got another one. And this is some of the things that just got added. It has a new map. It's called the prison or the jail or something like that. It's a close range to mid range map. A new weapon, a triple shot bow weapon, has been added. A new mode of gameplay, chivalry mode, has been added. This is a free for all style gameplay where you only get your bow, a sword, and a shield. So a definite twist on the regular gameplay there. They've added a 3 versus 3 mode now. So before you just had 2v2 or free for all. Now there's a 3v3. So 6 players can play this at once. So if you got a team of 3, you can go in this and have a good time. Okay, so this is what I was thinking about earlier. I was getting confused with Onward. They have added an offline mode with bots in this game, so that you can go in and practice and get pretty good with your with the controls before you get in there with live competition. So that's probably what it was with the Onward thing earlier. I apologize for the mistake. And in addition to all this, there's also a cosmetic new skin has been added, a player skin for your character. So, huge update. This is the second such gigantic update that has came to this game since it launched fairly recently. Clearly, the devs are dedicated to supporting this game. They've put it on a huge discount now twice in order to fill the lobbies up and grow the community. Roots, is it time for us finally to jump in on this game? I played it during the beta, and it was fun then, and it seems like they've really improved it a lot since then. I'm thinking maybe it's time for us to give it a go. What do you think?
It's time, yeah. I picked it up on the first sale, and it is real. I think it was before these changes. It was really good, and as soon as I saw that 3v3 mode, I just pictured virtual strangers just kicking another team's ass. So I'd like to try it. We got Alex on our team, so we can't lose. He's our resident shooter. Especially with his gun stock. I don't know if you can use that on this, but yeah. And then the offline mode, that's really cool because that's one of the worst things is getting into a multiplayer game, especially if you're not going in with friends. And I know Anthony speaks about this all the time, and this is how I feel. Like, I don't want to be that guy, that guy that's on the team that just blows it for everybody else. So I want to get some practice, figure out how the guns work, maybe try a few bot rounds, and then jump in with 2 strangers and feel like I'm the other guy that's bitching at that guy. But it's better to be that guy, right? So, but no, it looks pretty good. I'm excited. I think we should do it. I don't know. You said you thought about picking it up. You've picked it up already, right?
No, I hadn't picked it up yet. I played this during the beta. I played the closed beta, and I really enjoyed it. And, these competitive multiplayer games are not my style of game. I don't like it, but this game in particular, I did really find fun. And as far as the thing goes with the AI bots and getting some practice in before you go live, the game was already good about that anyway, because the lobby is set up with all different kinds of different targets to do target practice on, and it gives you access to all the weapons as well. So you can get practice with all the weapons already in the lobby, and just adding in AI bots, it's just another level of what was already good. Probably one of the best, if not the best lobby I've ever been in one of these style games. Firewall 0 hour devs take note. you could really use something like this. But no, I think that it's definitely something that I'm probably going to have to pick up, especially while it's cheap right now, less than $15. Alex, have you picked up this game yet? And if not, do you think you will now with all this
I
stuff
know.
being into it?
No, apparently it's actually going permanently, having a permanent price drop to $20 from what I've heard. So I think they finally listened and realised that it needed to be at that price to start with. But I don't think I will. I know you guys have to play without me.
What? Well, I know Justin has it, so we could rope
Yeah,
him in.
you can do that. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of these multiplayer games. I put in the odd time, like I've got contractors on Onward and that, but I rarely play them. I'll jump in them every now and then, but
Have you tried this one?
Okay.
I tried the beta. Yeah, I enjoyed the beta. It was okay, but it's like I say, it's like a proper arena shooter. You know, it's so fast paced and more like a Twitch shooter in VR, really. But I prefer the slower pace. Like I prefer Onward co-op just for this. You've got time to think and plan, and whereas this is more like just
It's
running around
chaos.
as fast. Yeah, that's why I'm not a big fan of Pavlov. I prefer Contractors because that's similar, where it's more slow pace. You've got a bit more time to react. I'm not very quick at these Twitch type things where you're constantly on edge and you constantly got to be, always waiting for the next thing. I prefer to take my time and with games, and that's why I like single player contact more.
Okay. Well, final word on this one. I do appreciate all the work that the devs have put into this. It's very encouraging to me to see such an effort. It's uncommon in VR to see this kind of support for a game. So I'm definitely tempted and probably will be picking it up in short order.
Cool.
All right, so next we're going to talk about another game that we referred to last week during our Games of Summer segment that we had. We had wondered out loud if we were going to be getting the Moss Twilight Garden demo before the end of the summer. Well, we got the answer to that because last week it released. So this was DLC that was a timed exclusive for Oculus Quest, but is now available on all platforms that support Moss. So this, as we have reported before, this is a new level that has 3 separate entrances hidden throughout the story campaign. So you'll have to play through this whole thing to find these entrances. It's still unclear whether or not each entrance has a specific part that are not connected to the other 2 parts, or if it's one entrance will take you through the whole thing. I think it's most likely going to be separated. In addition to the new level, there are new enemies. There are new weapons and armor, and apparently these new weapons bring new moves and new combinations to Quill. So it changes the gameplay fundamentally when you use the different weapons. I just wanted to mention this because we're going to be trying this out this week. And if you want our impressions on the new Moss Twilight Garden DLC, tune in next week and we'll each be giving our impressions. Do either of you have anything else you'd like to add on the Moss Twilight Garden DLC?
No, just that you have to play through the full game again effectively. So we are going to play through it, and we'll probably review the full game as well. So
yeah, definitely, it's worth a full review, and you don't have to twist my arm to get me to play this one again. This is absolutely one of the best games I've ever played in VR. So
well, plus you're going to get to play through it on the Rift S. And do you have this on? Do you have this on Steam? I guess you get to Alex. You get to play this probably on Index. I mean, it's going to be a complete. And I'll play the Rift S, so it's going to be like playing it all over again, right?
Yeah. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was about to say you've got Super something now as well. So.
Yeah,
that's precisely what I was going to say. I just installed the Oculus Tray tool a couple of days ago, and I'm gonna. This game already was jaw dropping to me when I was in it. I spent just as much time saying "wow" and looking around at stuff as I did playing the game. So to be able to go back in it now with my new headset, and super sampling and new levels and enemies and weapons. It's going to be a whole new experience of what was already one of the best games in VR. So
I'm excited to see how cool that main hall looks, because it always had a Harry Potter vibe to me, and and just with the super sampling and like you said, the better screen, like all three of us it's going to be different. It's going to be better, I think. So.
How badly do you want a proper Harry Potter VR game?
Oh God!
I mean, how awesome would that be to be in Hogwarts? And to play Quidditch.
Explore it. And yeah, because I've played Quidditch games on like Nintendo and stuff back in the day, and it was kind of cool. But I was like, man, if you could feel like you were on the broom and you were flying around, and how cool would that be, Fast paced.
Yeah. So. It would be awesome. All right, so that's going to wrap the news. Like I said at the top, this has been a slow news week. So that's pretty much what we've got. We're not covering hardware on our channel, as our longtime subscribers already know. So that's going to bring us into our special sauce here at the end, our game review segment, where we each pick a game that will be reviewed later in the week in a separate video. But we're going to start the conversation here, talking a little bit about the game and why we picked it. So I think Monday we're going to do Roots' game. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what you picked, Roots?
I picked The Spy That Shrunk Me. And we talked a little bit about this last week because they just removed, or they just went on sale, and they just finished the early access, and so we wanted to go ahead and check it out, and I know Alex went in there and he checked it out, and he'll give his opinion of it as well. But I just thought, from the aspect of checking out a game that's came out of early access that had a kind of a cool mechanic with the shrinking, and I mean, essentially it's a stealth game, and the whole time you're trying to infiltrate this as a spy into different missions, and it's pretty cool. So I mean, I'll leave it there because obviously we're going, on my end, because we're going to be talking about it on Monday. But if either of you want to talk about it or have anything else to say about it,
Yeah, it's a cool concept, and this is a flat game that has a VR patch added into it. So it'll be interesting to see how the concept works, and then in the context of how it ports into VR and if it works in VR. So yeah, definitely interested to see what you think about this and hear your guys' thoughts. All right, so that is the Tuesday review, the first review on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, I guess, will come my review. And the game that I'm going to review is a game that I've been playing for the last week now. You can find the footage of it on my channel, and that's Journey of the Gods on Oculus. This is a game that was timed exclusive for Oculus Quest, and even though I had a Quest, I didn't play it immediately. I waited for this to come to Rift S because I just love my Rift S so much. I play it way more than I play my Quest. Games definitely look and feel better in the Rift S, and I got into this when this released a little over a week ago. This is an action-adventure, Zelda-inspired game in VR, and I'm having a blast in it. And it's a game that has kind of a high price tag, so a lot of people are wondering, is it worth it? Well, that's the purpose of me picking it this week for my review. I'm pretty sure that all the guys have put some time into this, and if you want to know, is this game worth the $30, tune in on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. All right, so that brings us to Thursday and Alex's game. Alex, what did you pick?
I picked Marvel Powers United, which is a game that obviously came out in July last year with quite a lot of negativity around it, and obviously a lot of people expected something probably more than what it was. Luckily, I got access to it through Roots, so I didn't have to pay for it with my own money. But I wanted to try it out because it's Marvel, it's powers, it's United. But yeah, I just fancied being a superhero. Tried it. I'll give my more detailed thoughts on the review, but it's a mixed bag. It's not as bad as I was expecting, probably because of all the negative reviews, but it's not great neither. So we'll talk more detail on the review, but yeah, it's definitely it's difficult to say without spoiling what my final thoughts on it. But yeah,
Let's leave it
it's
at
not
that.
bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you made a good point here that this is another one of those infinite cases that we have of this is a victim of expectations. Another game like what was it we covered recently that we talked about the expectation not matching what it was, and it got a bum rap for it. It was Evasion. Another thing with Evasion got horrible reviews, and while sure it's not the greatest game on earth, it's better than what people think. And the reason why it got such bad reviews is because people were expecting something else, and that I think that's definitely factored into the negative reviews on this one. So if you want to know what our thoughts are on this game, tune in on Thursday.
Yep.
All right, so that's going to wrap up our Sunday show. Just to recap our schedule for this week. Today, of course, the news program you're watching right now. Tomorrow, our Monday show, our topical discussion. Last week, we got into the games of summer, the games that are coming this summer, and it brought a lot of comments from people like, yeah, we've got a lot of games coming, but we haven't had much come so far this year. There hasn't been much. Well, friends, we beg to differ, and that is going to be the theme of tomorrow's show. The games of 2019 so far. We're going to highlight some of the games that have come out. Obviously, we can't list them all, and we're going to pick some of our favorites, and we're going to end it all off by giving our top 3 candidates for Games of the Year 2019 up to this point. So definitely that's going to be a fun discussion you're not going to want to miss. Tune in tomorrow for that video. On Monday, we're going to have our review of The Spy That Shrunk Me, Reach's game.
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday. I keep saying that Monday. So the following day, on Tuesday, we're going to have Roots' review, The Spy That Shrunk Me. The day after that, my review, Journey of the Gods. And then on Thursday, to round out the week, we're going to have Alex's review of Marvel Powers United VR.
On 4th of July. The special Captain America edition of Marvel Powers United.
You took the words out of my mouth. But yeah, another jam-packed week full of content on the Virtual Strangers channel. So for those of you who aren't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you want to keep up on all of our videos, click the notification bell. We would very much appreciate it. Again, our Discord growing by the week. That's the invitation is linked in the description. If you want to be part of the conversation, if you want to affect our content directly, the best way to do so is by interacting with us daily on Discord. You saw at the top of the program today, Alex was referencing some of the picks from the Steam sale that we got from our community members, and those picks came from Discord. So the conversation is ongoing there every day, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want to talk to us about games or have some impact on our content, come.
You can talk about hardware if you want. We've got a hardware section, so.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of hardware talk.
Yeah, because we're itching at the bit to talk about it, but we won't talk about it on the show. So in the Discord it goes, right?
Yeah. We mainly, the reason we don't cover hardware on our shows, we want to do something different. We want our show to be unique, and we feel like there's plenty of hardware talk out there elsewhere. And if you want to talk to us about hardware, though, we're more than willing to do so on the Discord.
Yep.
All right. With that said, is there anything else that you gentlemen would like to add?
Nope.
No, just yeah. Have a good 4th of July. We'll see you in the YouTube comments. So.
All right. So yep, that's going to wrap it. Wrap Virtual Strangers 14. I want to thank you all for watching, and for Roots and Alex, I'm Wes, and we will see you tomorrow, friends.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.